One of our firm's most common services is helping streamline labor and employment for our small businesses. Whether it's health department shutdowns, Department of Labor suits, or something else, it's so difficult for these business owners to even know
Right.
what the laws are
Right.
to be compliant.
Yes.
How do we help that process? How do we make it easier for the business owner just to stay open and not be beholden to some of these archaic laws that just, quite frankly, don't make any sense anymore?
Right. I'll go back to, right when the pandemic happened, the restaurants and a lot of the businesses were shut down, but then there was a time where they were able to do outdoor dining and alcohol to go, and those things happened so quickly, and the city was able to get it together and, to your point, do a couple good things to make sure that some of those businesses survived. We have to get it together a little bit more quickly now.
Absolutely. But we need to be more proactive, not
Exactly.
reactive.
Exactly.
And I understand the halls of city government, they don't work efficiently sometimes.
Right.
But again, they need to, because people are depending on this.
That's right.
The old ways, as I said, of doing it are no longer.
Yeah, and I'm gonna, for me, it's about accountability. If and when I'm elected, there's only 3 of the 51 members of City Council who are Republican, and there's not a lot of people looking out for businesses, and I take it very seriously that I will be that voice, and I will. There's no reason that a small business has to wait 6 months for a permit or some sort of approval for a process. It's 60 days, the max. We have to start looking at what particular
Expediting
permit.
liquor licenses.
Exactly,
and-
expediting everything, because we don't have time to wait around, because we're going to lose these businesses.
And once
Not-
they're gone forever.
They're gone, and they're our tax base. If you want to fund the important social services, you have to have a tax base. If we're losing our population, if we're losing our small businesses, where do we have to go from there
So
in rebuilding?
To that point, if you drive up and down, say, Steinway Street, for example, there are so many vacant commercial spaces.
true.
Obviously, the CO, the use clause or use provision of the CO says this is a commercial space. It can only be used for commercial space. What are your thoughts on the possibility? And I know this has been a very topic in the news of quick conversion of those spaces, either to resi or to commercial, some kind of flexibility.
Yeah, I think, I'll start with saying that there's a lot of lifers in Astoria that feel like their community is changing very quickly.
It is.
And they're not happy with that. And we do have a lot of those larger companies coming in. Target is coming in now on Ditmars. Who would have thought, Target would be there in that space? So we have to have balance. And one of the ways that I would approach refilling Steinway Street, for example, is investing in those local entrepreneurs and small businesses. If we can grow the small businesses we already have, or incubate a local entrepreneur, give them, and connect them to investors.
Vis-a-vis grants?
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha.
So grants, and also I have an idea, and I'm actually doing it right now. I have a headquarters space on 23rd Avenue, and on Mondays, if you're a local entrepreneur, you can come, you can have Wi-Fi, we can, shoot the breeze, I can help you with your business. And this is just, just a friendly thing. But when I'm elected to City Council, I want to have a space that's an incubator space for entrepreneurs. And we want to refill those vacant commercial spaces with local entrepreneurs so we can keep the character of the neighborhood. And part of the discretionary funding that I would propose to the community is a historic preservation grant. So if you're a struggling small business and you've been around 50 years or more, I believe we have a duty to help you. And I think a lot of people rally around in the community to help those struggling small businesses, but I think the city can do more, especially as costs have gone up. But to answer your point with Steinway Street, certainly we have a growing population. We're already seeing a lot of, residential development. There just has to be balance. There's going to be change. There already is change.
And I don't want to get killed for saying this, but it's almost too much development at some time, too quickly, and it can become a bit overbearing for the residents, just on a day in, day out basis.
Right.
When the simplest of tasks, say going to the supermarket, now become a 2-hour affair, because by the time you find parking, by the time you get there, you dodge the potholes.
Right. Right. It's really the growing population, and we don't have the parking is a huge issue. we don't have the infrastructure to continue to grow without building up,
There has to
right?
be a plan.
So there has to be a plan. And I think, in talking about development, making sure that we're partnering with good developers. A lot of the people that I've met, there are people who've grown up in Astoria and they're in real estate and they're good people, and
Of course.
a
A lot of them are my clients.
right. So leveraging those relationships of people who want to, meet a need really, which is housing, but also how do we leverage those relationships for when we have budgetary constraints? How do we link those things?
It's a fine dance.
It's
And
a
to your
dance,
point,
yeah.
they're also creating jobs.
Right.
They're creating taxes for the state and all those good things.
Right.
So we've spoken about from here back how the city responded to COVID-19. What are the good things? What are the bad things? On a personal level, I'm very bullish on the future of New York.
Yeah.
We're doubling down, the law firm's doubling down, we're hiring. We believe that the next 10, 15 years in New York are going to be, the roaring 20s, as they put it.
Yeah.
What are your personal thoughts for the future of New York?
Yeah.
How do you see it?
I agree. It's going to be a new era where there's a lot of entrepreneurship. I think we've already seen a lot of people who are filing for new businesses, which is exciting. The last 2 years that we've had, they've been a struggle, but also a lot of people out of necessity have started businesses, and they maybe lost their job, and this is the time to rebuild. So we have to get behind them and make sure they can do that. I think a lot of it's going to depend on city council, not 100%. New Yorkers will always rise, I believe that. Will always come back stronger, but certainly city council can either close a door or open a door for people. We have to elect door holders.
We have to keep that door open.
That's right.
How do we find out more information about your campaign? How can constituents get in touch with you, share their concerns, questions?
Absolutely. So if you want to learn more about me, you can visit www.feliciakalan.com. We have a team of people ready to, meet you where you are, help with the constituent concern. If you have a small business and you need help navigating, I'm not the current elected city councilwoman, but I'll do all that I can to make sure that, your needs are met. And, always follow me on social media at Kalan for QNS, and our email is info@feliciakalan.com.
And most importantly, when is Election Day?
Election Day is officially November 2nd. We do have early voting in the city of New York that starts October 23rd. So you have time to go out and vote, and hopefully you keep me in mind.
And it's super important. Here's all of our chance to go out and vote, right? Be the change that you want to see. Get out and advocate for your positions, and hopefully Felicia is the person to do it for us. I'm Michael Iakovou from KI Legal. Thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck in the election.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.